If you're starting from zero and want to actually build strength, skill, and control, then this is where you want to start. Before I began calisthenics, I clearly remember only being able to do about 2 pull-ups. And a lot of people delay calisthenics because they think they're not strong enough. They think it's smarter to start with weights and then work their way up from there. But that, my friend, is not the approach you have to take. I've been training calisthenics for over 3 years now. And in this video, I'm going to break down some of the exercises and the 5 vital steps to your success if you want to start as a complete beginner. The first step is understanding the concept of regression and progression. You have to understand that the same concept you use in weight or resistance training or any other form of training that you do is the same concept that you can use in calisthenics. Regression is when an exercise is too difficult, so you change it to an easier alternative. For example, you can be doing your push-ups. Push-ups are too hard, so let me do knee push-ups. And then progression is when an exercise may be too easy, so you then go ahead and do a more difficult alternative. But understanding regression and progression will save you so much stress when it comes on to starting calisthenics, because things are going to be difficult. Another thing I want to say when it comes on to calisthenics is, from my experience personally, it does take a lot of core and back strength, surprisingly. A lot of lats and a lot of lower back strength. So we're going to touch on that more in the video later on. Before we even get onto the exercises, the second step that is vital to your success if you're starting calisthenics as a total beginner is making your own exercise library. If you skip this step, you are likely to fail because things are going to be too difficult or too easy, and straight away you're just going to quit and go back to your weights. So forming your exercise library, what I want you to do is go onto Google Docs or make a note on your phone and write down each muscle group. You've got your chest, you've got legs, you've got back, you've got buys, tries, all these different muscle groups, and then research different calisthenics exercises for each muscle group, and then write those exercises under that muscle group in your notes. A lot of people think calisthenics is push-ups, dips, squats, and your pull-ups, and you can't really think of anything else as a beginner, right? When you're advanced, you've got the world is your oyster when you're advanced, right? You can do all sorts of crazy stuff. But as a beginner, all that stuff is quite intimidating. So you may think that you're very limited, but the fact is that there is a lot more exercises for you to do than you can think off the top of your head. And it's quite surprising, to be honest. It really surprised me. You are bound to find exercises that are suited to your level, but also when you go into the gym, and not every session is going to be the exact same. And that's fun. Step 3 to your success is going to be tracking and progression. Now, honestly, this, I believe, is the biggest reason why my success and my progress on my journey has been so smooth and consistent in comparison to other people's. Right, so you've got your exercise library that you've made. Whoa. And every time you do an exercise in that document, you need to write down next to it the exact date and the exact reps or weight, how you performed with that exercise. You need to write that down. That's what I call tracking. This is the most important thing, because if you don't know what you've done in the past to the T, how are you meant to make sure that you do better next time? You're just going off feeling, and you're not gonna feel the same every single day. So you can't base your exercise, base your workout routine off how you're feeling on that day. It has to be based on how you've performed in the past. Last time I got 9 muscle ups, so this time we're aiming for 10. So tracking is the first part of the equation, and then once you've got the data, once you've got the exact performance that you can do, progress is the second part of the equation. That's how you actually improve and grow. Now, all I aim to do when I go to the gym is be that one little bit better than I was last time, whether that's 1 more rep, adding a little bit more weight, or decreasing my rest time a little bit. Whatever it is, I have to improve somehow. And when you do this, that's when you're gonna actually see the progress over time. That's my philosophy. That's how I approach things. It's always a nice, small, steady, consistent gains that add up very quickly over time. Now let's talk about the exercises. Step 4, the workouts. Now, when it comes on to calisthenics as a beginner, the things that you're gonna wanna work on are quite simple. You're gonna wanna work on your push-ups. That's gonna help with some chest, some shoulders, some triceps, get that push strength going that's gonna be needed for a lot of these calisthenics moves. You're gonna wanna work on your pull-ups, which is basically the core of growing back strength. Like, you don't really need much more than just pull-ups, basic pull-ups. Remember I said that it's a lot of core and lower back. Like, what is going on? I didn't realize my lower back was so weak until I started calisthenics. So you are gonna wanna work your lower back. And to do that, I think the simplest way as a complete beginner is to do deadlifts. There are calisthenics moves that you can do to build lower back strength, but as a complete beginner, I just recommend deadlifts. And another exercise that you're gonna want to do are dips. If you keep your body more upright, you're gonna be working more triceps. If you lean forward more, you're gonna be working more chest and shoulders. Not one is better than the other, right? It just depends on what muscle groups you wanna hit that day. And you're going to want to work abs and core. Now, when I say abs and core, that's two slightly different things. When I say abs, I mean your actual abdominal muscles. And when I say core, I mean the complete stability, right? And core refers to a group of muscles that's gonna help keep you stable. So when you're doing a plank, it's not just your abdominals that you're working, I believe you're working a little bit of back, a little bit of shoulders, a little bit of glutes, legs as well, because all of that is working together to keep you stable. Something else that I think you should really do if you have access to gym rings is do gym ring holds. I don't know what the actual term is. I just call them gym ring holds. Trust me, when I first began and when I see other people trying it as well, they're wobbling about all over the place, and that's because they lack stability and core. Getting that stability on the rings is gonna be amazing for your progress, trust me. Now, I'm not gonna give you complete workouts, but I do want to rapid fire some practical advice at you when it comes onto some of these exercises. First of all, with your push-ups, people, please use correct form. I see a lot of people powering through push-ups so fast, but it's absolutely shocking. Like, I don't care if you can do 70 push-ups. If they're rubbish, they're rubbish. You're wasting gains. I want you to look straight ahead at all times, engage your core to keep your body nice and locked out and straight, all the way down, chest almost touching the floor, not actually touching the floor, and then straight up, make sure arms are fully extended when you get to the top. If push-ups are too hard, regress to knee push-ups. If they're too easy, when I say too easy, I mean if you're flying through like 30 reps in a set and you're barely feeling anything, you're barely getting a pump, then it's time for you to progress to more difficult alternatives. Your decline push-ups, your explosive push-ups, do the archer push-ups, diamond push-ups, typewriter push-ups. Build a set of these exercises. Trust me, for chest, I mainly do push-ups, so these can really be a killer. When it comes onto your pull-ups, again, try and do perfect form. Engage your core, keep your body straight, pull yourself up, chin above the bar, and come down almost completely straight arms. If they're too difficult, you can start with some Australian pull-ups, or I've got a complete video on how to get your first pull-up linked down in the description. By the way, if you want me to do full workouts on all of these stuff that I'm talking about, make sure you comment that down below. When it comes onto abs and core, so you don't have to click off on another video, let me just throw some exercise at you real quickly. Purely for abs, you've got your sit-ups, sit-up twists, leg raises, which kind of does core a little bit as well. You've got your bicycles, knee in and outs, scissor kicks, Russian twists, kind of like hill climbers, but bring your knee to your opposite elbows. And then when it comes onto the core side of things, you're gonna wanna throw in a few isometric holds. My go-to ones are the plank holds and the hollow body hold, or I call it the death hold or crucifix hold, whatever you wanna call it. And also the side plank holds. That's gonna be brilliant for building up that core strength and stability. What you simply want to do is start with one set, 3 exercises, as many reps as you want, whether it's 10 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps, you pick, and then build that up to 2 sets and 3 sets. I just pick completely different exercises for all of them, and I make sure at least 2 isometric holds are involved to help work core strength as well. So yeah, we've come down to the final step, step 5, which is also very important because you want to be looking ahead. Step 5 is to pick your first move. Now, the way I think of calisthenics is I've got my general training, a general workout, but I always want to be working towards accomplishing something amazing. I want to be working towards doing a new move. Yeah, I recommend you pick your first move, and as you're doing your general training, put in a bit of extra work before the sessions, just trying to accomplish that move. Now, if you're completely new to this, I'm gonna save you the pain right now, and I think the first move you should try is an L-sit hang, and then move that into an L-sit pull-up. I think that looks pretty cool when you can do it cleanly, and it's not too difficult for a complete beginner. But once you've found the move that you want to accomplish first, I recommend you do some research to find the exercises, the progressions, regressions, whatever you want to say, that you need to go through to get to that goal. The easier exercises to eventually accomplish the one that you want. So if this video helps you in any way with beginning your calisthenics journey, hit the subscribe button because I've got plenty more tips and advice coming your way. Remember, always aim to be just 1% better than last time, and take care.